Rolling.
Rolling. We'll bring this meeting for October 22nd to order. We'll start the meeting as we do every time. Welcome. I'm Mark Keller, President of Historic South Park, and I live on Morton Avenue.
I'm Robert Spangler. I'm the secretary. I'm on Bonner Street.
I'm Holly DeFlore, treasurer on Park.
I'm Rachel Brew, first wife of Vice President of Park.
Abby Reed, membership, Hickory.
Jill Davis,
Park. Lori Cohen.
UJ Wolmeyer on James Street.
Angel Bailey, Park. And Gail Daffler, I'm representing Walnut Hills, and I live on Wayne Avenue.
Pamela Harrington, Pine. Carolyn Mann, Adams Street. Mary Pimentel,
Jonathan Childers,
Nick Vanderpool, Bradford Street.
Simon Gifford, Wayne Avenue.
I'm Mary Purpora, and we just bought the building, or I just bought the building next door to the pizza factory. So we just wanted to come and say hello and meet some people, and we're going to be opening a business there, so.
Welcome.
Heidi Arthurs, Bradford Street.
Jamie Boucher, Bradford Street.
Ian Cannon, Elmhurst Street.
Nick Reeder, Park Drive.
Officer Brandon Bunch, State Police.
Eric Winnigan.
David Osrode, Bonner Street.
Very good. I see that we have Officer Bunch here this evening. Any neighborhood updates from BPD?
As far as property crimes, those are down compared to earlier in the year. There is assaults are up a little bit, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But other than that, nothing stands out to me as far as things that need to be addressed on this paper anyways. Is there anything I can do for anybody? Yeah.
What falls under the title of assaults?
Assaults technically, like under here, like menacing is under here, so like if someone verbally threatens somebody with physical force or a weapon, that would fall under that. I don't think felonious assault has its own thing, so it would pretty much include everything that you can think of.
It's like domestic violence.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it doesn't have their own categories yet.
So anything but felonious assaults. Is that
Felonious assault would probably be included as well.
okay?
So it could be up there, could be minus and things too.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I believe, I kind of looked at them, I think a third of them were like menacing things, yeah. So it's not like people always fall around punching people or anything.
Any other questions for Officer Bunch?
So I've seen some really extensive reports given in other neighborhoods where they print out the whole list of everything. And is there a possibility we could get those sorts of things?
Like this thing right here, this here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I print them out usually when I come. Yeah, I can give you guys.
Okay.
And they're available, I think you can get them, I'll have to get the website through our crime prevention people. I'm pretty sure they're available to everybody.
Okay.
as well. But yeah, I usually like to bring them just that way we have some stuff to talk about on these. So.
Thank you.
Very good. Moving, I don't see any representatives from the prosecutor's office, so we will move forward with our guest speakers.
Hi, everybody. I'm Gail, and I work at Goodwill Easter Seals Miami Valley. And I work at a program called the Prescription Opioid Medication Safety Program. And we work with our Montgomery County Prevention Coalition. And we're working to hopefully get more to be active within our next Take Back Day. The upcoming Take Back Day is October the 26th, and Montgomery County Prevention Coalition will be active at 5 of those sites. The closest one to your neighborhood association is the Wayne Avenue Dayton Police Department, and please go there. Please dispose of any unused medications in your home. Please go through and see what you have you no longer use that's outdated. You can take those right up to the police station. They'll be open from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. on the 26th. And that is a safe and easy way to dispose of medications. It helps to make access, limit access to misuse in our homes. It just makes our homes really a lot safer. I was telling your president here, last October, we disposed of 2,500 pounds of medications in Montgomery County. And in April, our last Take Back Day, it went up to 11,000 pounds of medication. And so I was at the Wayne Avenue Police Department each time. There were only 11 people that showed up the first time that they filled up half of a grocery bag of Kroger's, a brown paper bag from Kroger's of the medication. This last time, they had 5 filled tall grocery bags of medication. So please go through your homes and dispose of those. I also brought you different sites here in Montgomery County. This is an incomplete list, though. We have 32 sites here in Montgomery County that you can go to dispose of your medications. Most are open 365 days a year, so you don't have to wait for the Take Back Day. Please use those regularly. And has anybody seen one of these?
What is it?
It's a medication disposal pouch. Okay. So I have a table full of medication disposal pouches. This is a safe and easy way instead of flushing medications if you can't get to the Take Back Day. This has activated charcoal inside. All you have to do is open this up, and then you put your medication in. You can put up to 40 pills in here, 6 ounces of liquid, or 6 patches. You fill it halfway up with water. You seal it up, shake it up, and then you throw it out. It's environmentally safe, so it doesn't get into, because of charcoal, then neutralizes the medication. So this is something that we're encouraging you to use, especially if you are doing to flush the medications or throw them in the trash. So if that's something that your neighborhood association ever needs more, please let us know and we can get you more of this absolutely for free. And for this upcoming Take Back Day, we also encourage you to be an advocate with your healthcare team. That is something that just ask more questions to your physicians. Only 1 in 24 people have really good conversations with their physicians about their medication. And that's something that simply, once you do that, you'll have more information about your medications. We have a really nice list here of questions that are a great outline over here on the table too. It's everything from why am I being prescribed this medication, what are the side effects of the medication, and lastly, is there any addiction potential with this medication? We want to encourage everybody to ask those questions, and if there is addiction in your history or in your family's history, to share that with your medical team. And because that is something that is huge. So these are great questions. You can also get on generationrx.org and learn more of them as well. Another great person to talk to about your medication is your pharmacist. So please go to your pharmacist, ask those questions. And also store our medications safely. One thing, we have received over 100 lock boxes for medication. So if there's anybody 55 or over here in the South Park community that needs a lock box, that's something that Goodwill Easter Seals can help them connect with. We have a medical equipment loan program. You can go get one from there. Just go to our front desk. They'll tell you where to go to at our building, and then that's something that you can get absolutely for free. So, and the last thing is with your medications. When we talk about medications, it's prescription medications, it's over-the-counter medications, and it's also our vet medications that we need to look at to dispose of safely. So please, I hope you're able to go out to one of our sites. The site that I will be at is Vandalia. We're having a big
10 a.m. until
2 p.m.
2 p.m.
Yes. Thank you, and I'll leave this box full of stuff.
Yeah, awesome, very, very good. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much.
Robbie, was the meetings, or minutes rather, of September meeting, were those posted?
Yes.
Okay. Does anyone feel or believe that we, any objections, corrections, mistakes that we rectify from there? With that being, looks like there are none, we move to approve the September minutes. Any objections? Being no objections, so approved. Let's move into committee updates. Crime prevention. Yeah.
Just for a brief comment, we talked about William Carroll last month, who was back in front of Judge Roberts on a probation violation. Judge Roberts gave him the balance of the 6-month sentence, which was really about all the time, 170 days or something. He was back in front of Judge Roberts for 2 package thefts within South Park, and Judge Roberts gave him another 180 days, suspended 90 days, but gave him 90 days consecutive to the first one. So he's gone for about 270 days. That's a fairly significant sentence. Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
So how
a
many,
lengthy.
you say 270 days?
270 days. Yeah, when you get him consecutive, he made a mistake of going in front of Judge Roberts twice.
Good, very good.
So he's gone. No more package theft.
At least in the
For the
6
short
months.
term.
Yeah.
And East Patrol picked him up, by the way. Somebody on the ball picked him up over on Green Avenue, I think. And, yeah.
So again, good work by our officers in the neighborhood.
I had sent a note when he didn't show up at the probation violation hearing to Bill Keller. And Bill put it out. I think somebody snatched him that day.
Outstanding. Let's move to
Parks Committee. Well, if you're new here, you might not know that while the city does all the mowing for our green spaces, it's up to South Park volunteers to take care of the landscaping and the flowers and the plants. So that's what the Parks Committee does, along with removing litter. And I wanted to share with you a new behavior I encountered this month in parks. We're used to vagrancy and odd behaviors now and then. But in this case, I was walking past the gazebo when a woman was driving west on Park, stopped her car, reversed around Caleb, and opened her car door and left it open, and jumped over the hedges into the gazebo garden area and started picking things up. So I was like, oh boy, what's going on? So I said, oh, I'm a volunteer, can I help you? And she said, she jumped up and had her hands full of buckeyes. And she said, we've been staying at the Airbnb and looking for buckeyes all over the city, and you've got the best buckeye tree right here. It's like a yellow buckeye or something. And she's like, and the buckeyes are as big as pears. And I'm like, oh, a new kind of crazy person. But she was a happy, crazy person. But I was like, oh, but her car door was open and there was a kid in the front seat, so I was a little bit alarmed. But, and then in the end, happy that she had found something to enjoy. And now I know that we have an exceptional buckeye tree here in the neighborhood that makes people very happy. So that was new for me, and thought I'd share that with you. Meanwhile, it's been a huge year for parks, so I just want to run down quickly since we're almost at the end of the year. It's like the biggest parks efforts we've had since I've been parks chair, starting with Earth Day, which we always have, a family litter cleanup day. That was a huge success. Then we redid the west end of the boulevard. We dug up plants, and one of our neighborhood landscape designers gave us a new design, and we started installing that. Then we had a big U cut back because our U's were overgrown and people were hiding things in the shrubbery around the wrought the iron fences on both ends of the boulevard, and so we had to cut that back to make that less of a hidey hole for people who wanted to keep things there, and that took some doing. Then we, probably the biggest ever, bigger than our South Park Green cleanup, was the Blum Park fence painting effort. And it was fun, and every time I look at that Blum Park fence, I can't believe it. It's so beautifully done, and I thank every volunteer who helped with that. Next, we had the dog waste campaign, because a lot of neighbors were complaining about too much dog waste in the neighborhood, so the Parks Committee got those dog bag stations, and we're still waiting on one additional trash can at Alberta and Hickory to go with our dog waste campaign, but the station attendants, the volunteers who take care of those for us, have reported that there is a marked improvement in dog waste disposal. Then after that, the Dollar General cleanup, which we tried our best not to do, but we, and that's a long story going back to 2011, working with Dollar General and the owner of that property to try and get them to tidy up their lots. So knowing that they were leaving at the end of this year, we finally just did it ourselves. And a lot of people have asked if I know anything about what's coming in after Dollar General leaves, and I don't know what's coming in, and I am a little bit worried. It might be up to us to sort of police that area and make sure the vacant building is not, another stopping place for graffiti and homeless encampments as it has been in the past. And then, let's see.
Of course, you can also take that thing and send it to Trader Joe's and say, please, please, please. Whether they listen or not, we don't know.
And left on the list for parks is a few more plants to put in before the year ends. And then we put up the Christmas lights on the boulevard, which has been a huge hit. We did that for the first time last year, and I have had so many compliments. People were like coming off their porches, coming out to me, still wearing their pajamas, telling me how much they love the Christmas lights and how much for years they've been wanting those two big evergreen trees to be lit up for Christmas, as well as the gazebo. So we're going to do that again. And that's my report.
Thank you. Marketing, Mr. Israeli.
I failed. I haven't done anything in the last month. There's nothing new. Jill and I have both been really busy. I did put out a video for my election campaign that talks a lot about South Park and showcases us well, but that's really not helping the neighborhood. We do have the newsletter template ready. I just can't find the time to volunteer to do it. And I can't task any of my guys to do it because they've been busy too. So
it's coming.
It's coming. It's just delayed. And we still need to do some major revisions to the website. Just haven't had time. So that's where we're at.
Very good. Thank you. Social. Yep.
I have been posting every month on the website. Robbie sends me his minutes, and I put the video up there too. So all that's available on the website, and you can subscribe and get an update from the website if you just want to get that way. But we also usually post to like Facebook group and a couple other places too to let you know what's up. So
Very good. Thank you. Social.
Hi, everybody. I'm Susie Rickard, and I'm not the social chair, but I am the hot toddy de facto chair. So I will be talking about that party that's coming up soon in this very space, Saturday, December 14th, from 6 to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And it's going to be a great time, and we have a good team assembled. So some of them are here tonight. Abby and Jill are helping out, also Luke Gordenberger and Robin Ressler, and Trish Williams, who I haven't actually met yet, but I've been talking on Facebook. So we each have our own part for it. If anyone has ideas for gift raffle baskets, we'll be doing that again this year, and Abby is coordinating it, so send your ideas or your donations for Will. We are also looking for people to volunteer to make desserts, so we'll have our usual beautiful dessert table, and that is up to the neighborhood to bring. Everybody brings a little bit. Trish will be coordinating that, and then we'll also have baked potato garlic last year, since that seemed to be such a hit. So I will be looking for folks who have a good chili recipe or some kind of vegetarian topping as well. So that's coming up soon, and budget-wise, we talked in the team, and I think looking between the chairs and table rentals, drinks and food expenses and prices for things, I think it might be up to 600. I think that's what is the word I want?
Is this still for the hot spot?
Overestimate. Yes, this is the hot topic. Sorry, Robbie. I think that's a little bit overestimate. We could probably keep it under, but I just wanted to let you know. Given that we expect maybe 75 to 100 people, and that there's a $5 door fee plus the raffle, I think we should probably break even in the end.
Do you want people to volunteer to bring hot toddies too?
Yes, the wrestlers are coordinating drinks, thankfully. So if you would like to make a hot toddy, which is like a whiskey, tea, and lemon and sweet concoction, we also could use a crock pot of like a mulled wine or a hot cider for an non-alcoholic option. So if any of those sound like something you'd like to do, let us know. You can reach us on Facebook, or you can email membership and she'll get it to the right place.
Or I'm friends with quite a few people. You message
Or just
me,
knock
I will
on our
pass
door,
it to the right
actually.
people.
Yeah. Anything else I'm forgetting?
This is our new overhead social chair here.
Oh, you're excited to meet you.
Yeah, we're gonna have the Halloween party at Walnut Park on next Thursday, on the 31st. So bring your kids, you can get hot dog, drinks. Margie and I will set up a little photo booth. She's helping doing that too. Five, right? Yeah. It's in my calendar, and we can't. Yeah, but it starts at 5. Jonathan will be there with hot dogs, so I think yeah.
How long does it go to?
Till 7, Halloween time.
6.
6.
Is that the same night as trick or treat?
It
Yes.
is, yeah.
Okay.
We'll do the little march, and then they'll vote between.
I think Patterson Kennedy and some kids from CJ are going to pull together a little march.
And I'll be seeing Amy tomorrow morning.
Very good, thank you. We have housing, but we'll get into housing. There's some overlap with the board reports. So Nick, anything from block captains?
Oh, not really. I've missed, 5 meetings now due to work and less so. When there's something to vote on, we get flyers out, which have not been too many recently. But we had one out last month, and I think we got some good coverage, but I know we're still weak in spots. So if anyone's interested in distributing flyers when we have them.
Will you shoot Robbie an email with where you need block captain still?
Sure.
So it can get put into the minutes?
Okay,
Can that work, Robbie?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do that. And
If
anyone's
people
interested
read
in
the
me?
minutes.
What?
I said if people read the minutes.
Well, that's a good segue. There's a lot of vacancies right now for different positions within the neighborhood. So we're always looking for volunteers. So the people that do step up, continue to step up quite frequently. One, thank you for your hard work, effort, and service. 2, we have lots of new neighbors. So please encourage them again to become engaged and involved with the neighborhood, including the neighborhood association. Again, people are looking for things to do and want to be more engaged with the neighborhood. There's lots of opportunities to help both formally and informally. So please keep that open and certainly share that, old and new neighbors alike. So that said, reports from the board.
I think
Finance? Okay. Robbie, anything you want to share? Okay, very good. Well, that will tie back into both housing and some updates. Last month, we had a presentation for the 250 Wyoming Street site of former Patterson Kennedy proposed development. So the developers came from Columbus, presented for close to an hour, showed slides. After they left, it was someone made a motion to vote whether to give support on behalf of the neighborhood or to deny support. And the neighborhood voted overwhelmingly to not give support to the project as it was presented at that meeting. So I drafted a letter on behalf of HSPI indicating the same. I've had numerous conversations with the developers both prior to that meeting and since then, most recently as yesterday. Since the last month's meeting, they have made some changes to the original development. Their information presented yesterday is that additional changes are coming. I have requested, the city's requested that they provide that information to us as quickly as available. There's a planning board meeting on November 12th. The last meeting, many neighbors attended and gave their opinion and their belief, some for, some against. So again, you are invited and able to attend and share your thoughts about it. As soon as we have an updated plan, if they do provide an updated plan, we will get that out to the neighborhood so you can see. It's a pretty significant development, pretty large development. So at least take a look at it and see what you think and see if you think that's a good thing for the neighborhood or you take concern. But our voice does matter, and now is the time to share your thoughts once we get the opportunity to take a look at it.
How long do you use
Typically it's 4:30. Yeah, 4:30 typically starts. It's an open meeting, so anyone can attend. Oftentimes there's more than one issue on the agenda. So typically we don't find it out until we go or the day of. So that said, this is a pretty significant plan and project. So it could be very long, or it may not. Just depends what's there. But that said, there's definitely been certainly some key members of the neighborhood that have been engaged in talking with the folks downtown, speaking with the developers, and continuing to be a voice for the neighborhood. So as we learn more, we will certainly share it and get it out.
Can you remind us of the location for the meeting?
6th floor, City Hall.
Thanks, Jeff.
Comment.
6th floor of City Hall.
City Hall, yes.
The date?
12.
November 12th. Yep, 4:30.
And I really regret that I didn't get there to take the last one, because I would have been there to video it, put it up online. But 4:30 meetings are hard for me to make.
It's significant, I think, one thing Mark didn't touch on is that my read on the plan board was some significant opposition to the plan. Felt that it was out of character. Various board members spoke different things. Safety security was one issue raised by one gentleman. Another gentleman was concerned about parking. There were some traffic flow concerns. People disliked the character of the building, the exterior elevations. I think what's significant is that the plan board tabled it again with a directive to the developers to meet with and engage the South Park community and see if there is something that could be done to make this look more appropriate. It is my understanding they have refused to come.
Yeah, that's correct, and was with not sharing all the details, but again, I've had extensive conversations with developers, both via phone and via email, and they have made it very, very clear that they feel the project as proposed last time, that they were in full compliance with all the regulations, with all the codes, and that they were not interested in modifying or changing at that time. So that said, I had gone back to them, expressed a continued desire to work with them, to engage them, to in fact put a board of interested parties, representatives of the neighborhood, both those in favor of the development, those with concerns or ongoing concerns, to sit down, have an open dialogue, and frankly, they said we're not interested in doing that. Some of the neighbors that are more actively involved in this, Jeff being one, Jim Wall, myself, they said, hey, if certain people are going to be there, we will not attend. We do not want to be part of that.
I'm not their closest friend.
The last planning board meeting when it was shot down, I spoke to them the day after. They were none too happy. I've spoken to them several times since. In communication yesterday, they said, I extended another opportunity to come to this meeting tonight. They said they did not wish to do so. They were unable to come. They said they are going to listen to some of the continuing concerns and modify or change the proposal. My personal opinion is seeing the second proposal, that I would not expect a dramatic change for this third proposal. I think that's a fair and accurate assessment, as well as their own statement. So for those that did not attend last month's meeting and their presentation, they showed some other projects that they developments that they built, and frankly, a lot of people liked those. They thought those would have been a better fit for this neighborhood, and they said, no, we are not interested in building that type of building or that type of development in this property. So they did buy the property. The property is theirs. They do own it. So as a neighborhood, we will continue to engage them, attempt to work with them, keep the dialogue and lines of communication open. We will see what happens at the next plan board. As Jeff indicated, it is important for our voice to be heard. It's been shelved twice now. The developers, their intent was the very first meeting to get approved. And they were a little bit taken back the first time that it wasn't. As Jeff said, they shelved it and said, hey, you guys haven't talked to your neighbors, i.e. you have not talked to historic South Park. So they continued it. The second meeting, it was more the same, saying, hey, we're not there yet. We gave you some marching orders. You haven't listened, and it was kind of shut down. So personally, I do not know what's going to happen. I've heard mixed things. Some people think it's going to pass through without issue. Other folks think that it will be continued again. So we don't know that. So if this is something that's important to you, try to attend that meeting on November 12th.
I encourage you to go.
Can I ask you a question? Number one, is your feeling that the planning board is opposed to the architectural style of the building because we are opposed to the style, or they are also?
I think they are also opposed. I think it was interesting that there was not what I would say a collective voice from the board. It was various members, 4 or 5 or 6 of them, who had individuals. That somebody didn't like safety, security, somebody was parking in traffic. we talked about having the surface lot at the corner of Wyoming and Brown, and it should really be in the back, is what happens with phase 2.
Then my other question is, when they said, talk to your neighbors, we are only one of their neighbors. I mean, Miami Valley is their huge neighbor to the, is that the west, and then UD is their neighbor to the south. Have either of those institutions had any input at all?
I was gonna say no, I don't think they've talked.
Yeah, I agree. They have the opportunity certainly to weigh in. They have been very tight-lipped, at least to me personally. I think us as an organization.
They weren't out here.
Correct. Yeah, no representation, no one attending.
And I think they said they had not talked to them.
I think they did talk to UD,
yes.
but only as a
Fact-finding for parking primarily.
For parking. They wanted to know what the ratio was of bedrooms and people.
Correct.
The other thing, and Mark and I talked on Saturday, and we were going to follow up. I thought it was very important to memorialize South Park's actions, activities, willingness to meet. We invited you to our meeting, you wouldn't show up. We wanted to have a committee, you wouldn't participate. Did we get that out, or are you going to issue it?
Via email, we did, and again, due to the late hour, so communicated with them. They responded yesterday saying we're not going to attend tonight. So I will follow up all those conversations in a formalized letter from.
Yeah, I think we should have that planned. We should have it at the meeting in advance, so that it can be in their packet. Again, with South Park's recommendation for they're very stubborn and very arrogant. So.
I would invite, if you've not seen, and again, it sounds like the plan will be changed. There's a pretty extensive dialogue on the social page about that shows the renderings, that shows the plan. There was a little bit of confusion about some of the things, so I tried to go through and explain. It's a very large structure. In fact, it's planned to be 2 large structures, the parking garage. It basically envelops the entire lot of the
More so than
vacant
even
lot.
the school did.
Correct.
Oh,
correct. Yeah, it's essentially the full perimeter of that lot. So to put it in scale, I drove around there just to look, and it is a very large 5-story building.
It's a 60-foot building sitting 10 feet from the curb, straight up. I don't know how to tell you. It's monstrous. And Tracy's had her hand up, I haven't gone
Well, I just wanted to address Holly's concern. The first Penguin meeting that I went to when the developer showed up, Miami Valley was there because they were getting some approvals for their development on Main Street. So they're aware of this building. Buddy LaChance, I think, was acting as their rep at that point. He had nothing to say to the developers. He never raised any objection or confidence at all. So I'm assuming the Valley doesn't really care because they're so focused on what they're doing on the opposite side of Main Street.
Do come to the meeting if you have time. Or send a letter to the city. Don't be bashful. I think there's some backroom arm twisting going on with the city officials on the plan board, so we'll see how strong those spines are.
Yeah, so we will see, again, they have delayed this twice, in large part due to our neighborhood and our opposition. So whether you're for or against the proposal, we do have a voice, and I think the greater thing to point out is that the city is starting to pay attention. We'll see what happens as it relates to this specific project. We'll find out here soon, but we at least have given them some pause.
Abby, you created a calendar invite and send it over?
That's what we're talking about. So it's gonna have the date, location, and then we're gonna add the address if you can't make it, where the email, the letters.
Has anyone talked to the businesses between UD and where this development is going to? Between there, and we already have to fight parking because UD's gonna go by, they're parking fast. And then I'm gonna find their parking, and they're gonna keep taking their spaces.
We've not reached out to specific business owners. Parking is a very significant concern for multiple players, so that is a big issue. But that is a good added point. So we may do that in the
I don't know who owns the building or the easements, but they fight me crazy. They're constantly. They have no purpose, like 24/7.
So as we indicated before, we have some vacancies on the board. So we have a second vice president. What other positions do we have coming up for re-election? So membership chair.
I'm stepping down.
You are stepping down. Okay. So we are in need of a membership chair. And then Holly, yours up as well. So again, if you are interested in being on the board, being more engaged, really, it's one additional meeting a month that we have as an executive committee, and then there's some work in between. But I think we would all attest that yes, it is added work, but it's very important. We've had a lot of progress in the neighborhood for a very long time. It's continuing to come. We still have a lot of work to do, and I think this organization is a significant driver for the progress in the neighborhood. So if you have the ability to step up, we're certainly asking for the help and the assistance, whether that's for a board position or any other position, or just volunteering for various groups within the neighborhood.
So we vote next month on new board members. If you'd like to be more involved, but VP or treasurer seems a little bit too much, come talk to me at the next VP's position. So it's a nice way to kind of get your feet wet and see if you want to get more involved with that end.
Holly, are you running again? You're open?
I'm looking to the back row. I felt really bad because I had been missing a lot of meetings, and Michael pointed out to me that what I do really doesn't happen here. It happens away from here, so if I need to do it again, I will.
Very good. Thank you. I don't believe we have any outstanding or old business. That said, do we have any new business, anything that requires a vote from the membership?
I don't know if it requires a vote, but it might. Should I go?
Let's hear it, David.
All right, so today's paper, there was a story about the city starting a new data-driven neighborhood analysis thing. They were going to pattern after something had been done in other cities, and it was called, they don't have a name for it, but it was Dayton Live, or Live, or Live Dayton, or Live Cincinnati, or Live wherever. And they're going to present a whole bunch of information about each of the 66 neighborhoods, because we now have 66 instead of 65. And they were talking about things like home values, how long they've been on the market, sale prices, median incomes, the demographics of each neighborhood, and to help you site select where you should live.
That's what realtor.com.
Well, so my argument is that this information is the kind of information that banks have used and insurance companies have used to redline, to get us into the problem that we are in today in Dayton. There are already borders and lines drawn on the map that pretty much divide this community as a whole, and they're called suburbs and school districts, where we have all kinds of crazy lines on the map. And to reinforce them with this kind of information that is supposedly to help people is actually going to do more to create gentrification issues, and we've seen it in our neighborhood. Okay, I'm really still torn up about a neighbor who'd been here 25 years, who people saw the property values going up. They just kicked him out and says, you know, we're gonna redo this house and sell it and you're out. So, I don't know, while we've always done our own internal marketing and everything, I don't know that I want the city to be talking about stuff that Realtor.com would do, or to be investing in that, as opposed to investing in things like actual services, like police or fire, or, you know, picking up the trash and making sure it actually goes in the truck instead of all over the alley, those sorts of things. So, take a look. If you don't have the paper, I posted most of the story on Israeli.com today. But I don't think it's something that is good for our community. And I don't know if everybody here wants to get more information, then have a vote to say yay or nay, send a message to the city, but I think we need to do it relatively soon.
Maybe we can opt out. Do we know if it's helped the other cities that have tried it?
Well, helped in what way?
That wasn't in the story, but, you know, again, helping.
The idea was to attract residents, is what they're saying.
Yes. Yeah, that's their argument. I say the way you attract residents is by the people in the neighborhood attracting residents, not the property or the tax value or anything else.
So it sounds to me like there's a lot there and a lot that we don't know. So
right.
I think that's something that could be shelved. I don't think that's appropriate to take a vote on at this point. But if
I'd like it to be circulated for maybe the next meeting and maybe try and get some more answers.
Sure.
And think about it, because I really don't think that we need more lines on the map. We need to have less lines and more getting to know other neighborhoods and coming together instead of circling the wagons, so to speak. And I've been going to lots of other neighborhood meetings because of mine, and so I hear different concerns in different neighborhoods, and as a whole, people still aren't very happy with the way all this stuff is working in terms of delivery of services to the neighborhoods, and I'd rather they focus on that. And, you know, when you do the services right, then the people come, not the other way around. Anyways, that's my thoughts.
thank you, David. Any other announcements or public comments?
So our South Park Urban Drinkers Group. Would you like to know about the next event? Okay, the next event is going to be Thursday, November 7th, from 7 to 11 at Toxic Brew. You don't have to drink to go. Well, there you might have to, but no, it's fun. Neighbors just show up and talk. I couldn't make the last couple, but I took my 2-year-old down to Coco's and we had a great time. He loved the neighbor he was sitting next to. So it's a lot of fun. It's another way to get to know your neighbors. So,
I'd like to point out, I've been in this room for a long time. I always looked up and never could figure out the skylight because the sun never came through it. But I hear our neighborhood artist Pam Harrington did this painting on it, and if you look up, it's not peeling paint. It's just boring anymore. It's beautiful sky all the time in South Park. So I wanted to say, good job, Pam. Thanks, Pam.
During the introductions at the beginning, we had some new people, I believe, mention they were starting a business. I wanted to hear a little bit about that if they wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, so I recently purchased the building.
Would you do me a favor and stand up in the front? Is
Oh.
that possible?
I don't know if it's possible or not.
And introduce yourself again for.
Okay, it's Mary Kapora,
Thank you.
and this is Simon Gifford. I own the building, and Simon's going to be running the business. I bought the building between the antique store and the pizza factory, and it needs some tender loving care, right? So we're in there now trying to tear things apart so we can put it back together. And so I just wanted to come and say hello, and we want to be, sensitive to the fact that this is a historical neighborhood, and we want the place to look nice and be, an asset to the community. So we just wanted to come and say hi. It's going to be some time. We're just getting ready. to submit the plans to the city. So it's gonna be, you know, some number of months before we get up and running. But it's planned to be, would you call it a bistro wine bar or sort of?
Kind of like an older world style or environment. Definitely with like food available, but maybe a focus on sort of more of a organic style of wine and just sort of specialty drinks in that manner. And we're trying to preserve kind of like it's like a 1900, 1905 building, so we're trying to preserve as much of that as possible. And I think the only thing that really is affecting that plan is a staircase that we're trying to figure out how to incorporate it into the outside. And so we have like some renderings to offer you to look at it, and it's not going on the front of the Wayne Avenue side, but on the back. And there's, if you're not familiar with the property, it's a parking lot set inside of there that we're hoping to sort of make more of a greener space and add the staircase to the back of that building. And I had a conversation with Rachel Bankowitz a couple months ago, or some time ago. I heard now that she's no longer the head of the historic district for Dayton. So we're taking it to you as well, just to like show you and introduce you to the project, trying to keep it tasteful and sort of classic to the building.
Yeah, and I guess we're hoping, since Rachel's no longer involved, you know, if there's somebody else that, you know, is a contact person for you guys, somebody else that we should be talking to about, you know, the overall look of the building, that would be great information for us.
We'll get that to you.
Okay,
Cool.
great, thank you.
Any other announcements?
Oh, I forgot something. I forgot to thank Susan Vincent, who wrote a Montgomery County grant for the Parks Committee and worked closely with Holly to get the grant implemented and get the report in and get the money back. And, that was a first time for us, and it worked out very well, and it was a small grant, but Susan said, no, we've got the template, and if we wanted to, we could ask for a larger grant. So anyway, thank you to Susan and Holly for the Montgomery County grant.
Very good.
What was this grant for?
It's recycling, it's the Montgomery County recycling effort. And
So one of the things that came up today, I don't know if some people saw it, but Burgess Gal bought one of the buildings, or two of the buildings on the shortest street in South Park, which is Garrett. And they had burned one of them very badly. And there was a post on historicsouthpark.com saying, buy this building or tear it down or do something, somebody do something. And the pictures of it were absolutely, I mean, it was bad.
There was a tree growing through the roof.
Yeah.
wasn't there?
I mean, it was horrendous. It just went on the market, and the pictures of it are absolutely phenomenal. And the furniture in it, some of it, I guess, were just made out of some of the reclaimed lumber and is available to buy along with the house. The house went on the market for $139,000. The little tiny, what was a barber shop and was a store for a while right across from Bonnell Park, which the guy did as an Airbnb. It's absolutely spectacular from the pictures. I haven't been in it. And they're asking $149,000. And that place is like 638 square feet. 600.
Price came down.
Price came down to what?
I think it was 135.
135, but he was also offering it furnished. You know, everything in it. I mean, like move in. Then we had 600 Oak Street, which was a tiny aluminum siding cladded. I mean, it looked like nothing. And our neighbor had passed away and left it to Jim and Tammy Butler. And they did it on a shoestring. But it's yellow now with this really nice light green trim. And it was on the market for less than a couple of weeks. And it went for $85,000. There is a lot happening in this neighborhood, a lot of good things in terms of houses. And the value is in this neighborhood. And when you invest in your neighborhood, you can get it back. That is not the case for the rest of the city. And I hear things constantly from people, and I see examples where these things aren't happening. When the house burns next to you, it doesn't come back. In fact, we usually pay to tear it down. So there's a lot of stories to tell about South Park. We're going to try to get some more of that up on the website and the before and afters. Not just to say, yeah, we're gentrifying or whatever, but that this neighborhood came together because the people in here worked really hard at doing things. And it's the hot toddy parties and the spooky park parades and the porch patio and deck parties that make the reason people want to live here. Because every other neighborhood has the exact same schools and everything else. You know, so we've got a lot to be proud of, and those, you know, if they sell, it's pretty awesome. And I just had a guy move here from London for my Airbnb for 6 months, and he thinks this is the greatest thing ever. It's really happening, folks, finally. 33, 34 years since I moved in here and bought a house for less than the price of a used car, people. I don't know, but it's good news. So I want everyone to think about that and watch the blog on the site for more info.
We have a motion to adjourn.
So made.
Second? Yes. All those in favor?
Yes.
Aye.